Hello, today I have some butternut squash that I need to get done. It's been sitting in my basement all winter and I have been using it on a regular basis for soups and stews and casseroles and pumpkin pies and whatever else I can think of to use it with. Even stir fries. It's so delicious and sweet. The thing about butternut squash is it's just so sweet and delicious. It tastes much better than pumpkin, but very similar in flavor. And you don't need to add as much sweetener to it. Spring is coming, so I need to use the rest of it up. So I'm going to be freezing some of it before it goes bad. I love this type of peeler. It does quick work on these thick peels. I believe this one is the OXO Y peeler. I like the Y peelers a lot better than the regular peelers. I don't know what they're called, but it just works really well for butternut squash because of those thick skins. It doesn't take much effort to peel them using the Y peeler. So let me finish this up here. There, I've got most of the butternut squash that I'm going to be using right there, all peeled and ready to go. So I take off the ends, and I just cut off the part that doesn't have the seeds in it, because for me it's just easier to just take that whole thing and cut it up into slices. It's no problem to cut it right up into slices. You don't have to deal with the seeds with that part of it. So that's the way I do that. And it's easy also to cut it into big chunks when you're going to cook it all in a big pot with a little water in the bottom, because you don't really need small chunks for that kind of thing. You're just going to grind it all up anyway. Now I'm going to cut apart the bottom portion, and you'll see the seeds are inside of there, and I just take a spoon and scoop those out. I will definitely be saving those seeds. Some of them I may dry to replant for this coming spring garden, or I may also cook them up in some olive oil and add a little salt. They're actually really nutritious and delicious. So totally worth saving the seeds and not throwing them away. I mean, all my peels go into my scrap pile to be put back in the garden eventually, but you put seeds in there, you can do that. They might sprout. All right, there we have it. All the squash in my biggest pot. I'm going to add some water so that they don't burn, and I'm going to turn the burner on high until it heats up. Then I'll let this simmer on low until it's nice and soft. We're going to put the water in. Burner on, just put it on high for a little while, and once it gets nice and hot, then you can turn it on low. There's my seeds. I'm going to take all that stuff out of there that doesn't belong, all the stringy stuff, and then, as I said, I'll let them dry for planting. Oh, don't forget to put the lid on. All right, there we have it. I removed most of that stringy stuff, and it's all ready for whatever I want to do with it. In this case, I'm probably going to dry them because I don't really need them for snacking right now. Okay, our squash is all cooked. You can see it cooked down quite a bit. It took an hour or two to cook it, mostly on low. And now I have let it cool down for a little bit. It's still kind of hot, actually. You can see it's steaming. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in my food processor. I've had this food processor for a long time, and it's a great food processor. I think it's the Cuisinart. I'm just going to grind that up until you don't see any chunks anymore. Once it gets nice and smooth, I will put it into the bowl, and I will keep doing that until I have used all of it up and filled up that bowl. Okay, just spoon it out into the bowl. It's pretty easy to do. Okay, and I'm going to get some more. I had to do this a couple of times because I couldn't obviously fit it all into one batch. So I did a few batches It probably took, at least 6 or more batches. I'm not sure. But I'm not going to waste your time showing you all of that. Okay, we're going to grind that up. I always love watching it grind up. Almost ready. Just want to make sure it's not chunky. I like mine nice and smooth. It's just about ready. Alright, there we have it. You could let it cool down a bit more. I probably did it hotter than it needs to be done. You could even refrigerate the whole pot and then do it the next day if you wanted to, so that it's completely cool when you're working with it. As it is, I ended up putting this whole container, not pot, bowl, into the fridge, and I will add it to freezer bags the next day because it was still too warm. So there we have it. That is about 8 quarts of butternut squash. Delicious and ready to go into the quart bags when it's all cooled down. I'm really looking forward to using this for pumpkin pie, pumpkin bread, pumpkin cookies, and eating it as a side dish. There's so many things you can do with it. I hope this video was helpful to anyone who needs to use up some squash for some longer term storage.